Hey art nerds, we are going to talk about how to set up your Motif portrait grid, whether you're using the watercolor paper or the hardboard for your acrylics. Remember, you have an option which one you want to do. So in the description below, I will write down where you can jump forward if you're planning on doing the hardboard option, so how far ahead you need to skip ahead. Otherwise, we're just going to jump right ahead to it, starting with the watercolor portion. So the watercolor portion, we are going to be working in centimeters, okay? It's going to be 22 by 28 centimeters with 2 centimeter squares. If that's all the information you need, go for it, get it done. But there's a couple of things that you need to remember, especially because you're working with watercolor paper, you are able to see pencil lines through it. So the big thing is making sure that you have your lines super light. So when I'm doing this, you need to make sure that you have very light grid lines. Otherwise, you will have problems. So when you get started, you need to make sure that you start with your border. And the border on this one's going to be much skinnier than with our monochromatic piece. I'm only doing a 0.5 centimeter. So if I pick up my ruler so you can see a little better, I'm working with centimeters, and my 0.5 centimeter is this medium-sized dash mark right here. So I'm making two measured marks at that 0.5 centimeter so that I can make sure that my line is straight across. Okay. And my lines in this video are going to be obnoxiously dark so then you can see them. Should they be that dark if I was actually using this to paint? Absolutely not. Otherwise, I'd be running into major issues as I was going about my project. Okay. So if I took a look here, it says that I need 22 by 28. Since this is the short way, this is going to be my 22 centimeters. So I am making a mark at 22 centimeters. Notice how dangerously close it is to the edge of my paper. That's why I need to have this 0.5 centimeter right here. No more than a 0.5 centimeter. Otherwise, you will run off the edge of your page. Okay, you need a little bit of a space, so then you're actually able to tape this down onto your hardboard, which would be super handy. So I really encourage taping it down. So making my mark at that 22 centimeter mark line, connecting my lines all the way across and down. So that is 22. Okay, beautiful. So now I need to make a measurement for my 28, and I don't really have a specific spot that I need to start. All I know is that I have plenty of wiggle space because this is like 30 centimeters. So I'm just going to make a mark close to the bottom edge. So I'm going to start right here. I'm going to do about a centimeter from the bottom edge. That seems like a good spot. And do a centimeter from the bottom edge on this side. And then when I connect it, that'll be my starting point so I can measure my 28 centimeters. Okay. Then I can go across, make a mark at 28, slide this down, make a mark at 28, and then slide this across again. All right. So this next bit that you guys are going to be doing is making your dash marks all the way across, the tick marks across the edge. All right, now that we have our grid finished, I'm going to turn it like this so you can see a little bit better. You can see that now it matches our grid setup that is in that Google Slides document that we were editing our photos in. So it should have 14 across, 11 going this direction, and you should be able to label it with the letters and numbers, and it should be formatted just like on that Google Slides. So then you can start sketching in your portrait, I would start doing your portrait outline first, so then you don't do your entire motif on the background, then you have no room, and you have to start erasing a bunch of it to put your portrait in there. So start doing your outline for your portrait first on this part. So we're going to switch gears and start talking about our other side. So we're going to switch over right here. And I'm actually going to use a Sharpie marker for this so you actually can see what's happening. So what makes this one a little bit different is that we are going to be using inches instead of centimeters. So switching gears, this thing, the big thing to keep in mind is that this is a factory manufactured board, so it might not be perfectly 11 by 14. Our goal is that it is, our hope is that it is, so we do our best. So we don't have to make any border or anything like we've done in the past. We can just start by making the tick marks all the way around for starters. That's going to be our first step. Now, a couple of things to remember. Number one is I use Sharpie so that you were able to kind of see what was happening. Don't use Sharpie, use pencil. Use pencil. Don't forget to use pencil. If you make mistakes, you can erase it. Also, it's hard to cover over Sharpie with acrylics, okay? Use pencil, pencil, pencil. Also, you may have noticed that my ruler did not go all the way across, okay? You may have also noticed that I made a third measurement down the center so then I could, go most of the way and then finish it up going this way, okay? Because we don't want to guesstimate because we didn't want to have a bunch of crooked lines, okay? Also, you may also notice that this line doesn't quite go to the right spot. This may or may not be an issue, okay? If this is in the top edge and I have nothing in this section, or maybe it's in the bottom and it's a solid black section, it might not be an issue. But if I wasn't using Sharpie and I was using pencil, I would have erased it while I was ahead of the game and corrected that and fixed that. In case you were watching and noticed that I made a mistake, yeah, I probably would not have left that there. So that is how that you'd get it started. Couple reminders, okay? 11 by 14, 1-inch squares. If you're working with the watercolors, it's 22 by 28, 2 centimeter squares, making sure that half centimeter border across that 1 inch and a single centimeter border across the bottom edge works out just fine. So that's how you get these started, and I hope this helps.